What do you think you're doing? Put that back! The flight attendant's sharp voice sliced through the calm of the first-class cabin. Heads turned, gasps filled the air. A black woman, seated elegantly in 2A, froze in humiliation as her tray was pulled away. Other passengers stared, whispering, judging, but what no one expected was that this insult wouldn't end here, because the man responsible for every meal on that flight, the executive chef himself, was about to emerge. And when he did, the entire cabin would witness a confrontation that would shake the airline forever. Before we dive in, what country are you watching from? Drop it on the comments, and if you believe dignity is priceless, hit that subscribe button right now, because this is one of those stories you don't want to miss. And trust me, the ending will leave you speechless. Her name was Vanessa Carter. A successful black attorney in her mid-30s, she had fought tooth and nail to reach the point where she could finally enjoy the little luxuries life had once denied her. Today she was flying first class for the first time, a reward to herself after winning a high-profile civil rights case that had made national news. Vanessa wasn't just traveling, she was celebrating survival, excellence, and dignity. She took her seat with quiet pride, unaware that prejudice was waiting to ambush her at 30,000 feet. The first-class cabin glittered with luxury, crystal glasses, silk pillows, and smiling attendants offering champagne. But when it came time to serve the meals, Vanessa's smile disappeared. The flight attendant approached her row with 2 trays. She handed the gourmet entree, a beautifully plated salmon with truffle mash, to the white man seated beside Vanessa. Then, with a cold smirk, she placed a plain, boxed economy meal in front of Vanessa. Vanessa blinked, confused. "Excuse me, I ordered the chef's special like everyone else." The attendant leaned closer, her tone dripping with condescension. "Those meals are reserved for our first-class passengers." The cabin froze. A hush spread. Passengers looked over their glasses of wine, their eyes darting between the 2 women. Vanessa's heart sank as shame spread like wildfire. She had the ticket, the seat, the right, but not the respect. Vanessa tried to explain, showing her boarding pass, her first-class stamp. The attendant waved it off with an eye roll, muttering something about policy and availability. But everyone could see the trays on the cart, untouched meals that hadn't been served. The humiliation was deliberate. Her neighbor cut into his salmon, whispering sorry under his breath, while others avoided her gaze altogether. Vanessa felt the sting of 1,000 invisible knives, the old, familiar wound of being told she didn't belong, even when she had earned her place. And then it happened. One of the attendants hurried to the galley with the leftover trays, whispering nervously. Within moments, the cabin door to the galley burst open. Out walked a tall man in a crisp chef's jacket, his face etched with fury. This wasn't just any flight attendant serving reheated meals. This airline prided itself on in-flight fine dining, with celebrity chefs designing the menu. And this was Chef Alejandro Torres, the mastermind behind it all. His voice boomed through the cabin. "Who took this woman's meal away?" Every head snapped toward him. The attendants stiffened, panic spreading across their faces. Passengers straightened in their seats, stunned to see the man behind the luxury storm into the aisle with fire in his eyes. Chef Torres locked eyes on Vanessa, then on the boxed meal in front of her. His jaw clenched. "This is an insult to her, to my food, to this airline." He ripped the boxed meal off her tray, slamming it onto the cart so hard that the utensils rattled. "She paid for first class. She gets the first-class dining experience. End of discussion." The flight attendant tried to stammer an excuse, but the chef cut her off, pointing sharply. "Save it. I've been watching service from the galley, and what I just saw is unacceptable." Vanessa sat frozen as the chef himself wheeled the cart back down the aisle. With precise, almost ceremonial care, he plated the meal meant for her. Salmon, truffle mash, seasonal greens, garnished with edible flowers. He set it before her with a bow, his voice softening. "This is yours, Ms. Carter." And it should have been from the start. The cabin erupted in whispers. Some applauded. Others glared at the attendants, who now stood trembling under the chef's wrath. But Torres wasn't finished. He turned back to the passengers, his voice thundering. "We do not tolerate discrimination on this airline. Ever. If you think the color of someone's skin decides the quality of service they receive, you have no place in first class or anywhere near my kitchen." The shame fell heavy on the attendants. One of them was escorted out of the cabin mid-flight, replaced by another crew member. Passengers murmured in support of Vanessa, some even raising their glasses to her. For the first time since boarding, she felt her dignity restored. As the plane soared over the clouds, Vanessa finally tasted the meal she had dreamed of. But it wasn't just food. It was justice plated on fine china. The humiliation had burned, yes, but the public defense from an unexpected ally had given her something more powerful than anger: vindication. When the flight landed, Vanessa was personally escorted off by Chef Torres, who promised to file an official complaint against the attendant. The airline later issued a public apology, offering her lifetime platinum status. But for Vanessa, the true victory wasn't the perks. It was the moment someone stood up in the face of prejudice and refused to stay silent. And that's why this story matters. Because injustice doesn't stop at the ground. It follows people into boardrooms, boutiques, and even first-class cabins. But when someone dares to confront it publicly, it loses its power. So, if you believe respect has no seat class, hit subscribe right now, turn on notifications, and never miss a story that exposes truth, delivers justice, and keeps you inspired. Because the next story might just change the way you see the world.